Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Ramadan, happy first day of children in the commons in years. And happy Earth Day. I think many of us, me included, have come to a new appreciation and a new gratitude for the earth in this pandemic season. When outside has been the safest place to gather, when parks and trails and playgrounds remained open when so much was closed, when there was joy and beauty to find in the midst of challenge. I think we all have our different stories of gratitude in this season. For me, I have come to a new appreciation for the clouds. The clouds in Michigan are really exceptional, and they're just always there. So if you need that dose of beauty, it's very easy to find at least one somewhere in the sky. And there's also the persistent growing plants and the lakes and ponds and all of the things we know that give us strength. So on this day when we are celebrating Earth Day, of all the things we could be celebrating, let us feel gratitude for the world around us and for the interdependent web of which we are a part. Come, let us gather together Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. I'm Bob Davis, a member of the Sunday Services Committee, and welcome to People's Church. At People's Church, we welcome everyone, no matter what your race, previous religious background, gender, who you love. We especially welcome you if you're visiting us for the first time. We only ask that you join us with an open heart and an open mind, and that you make a commitment to help make the world a better place for all of us. The mission of People's Church is to be a beloved community, embracing and serving our diverse world. Here we seek truths in the teachings of all major religions, philosophy, arts, and the science. We recognize that examining our lives and assumptions and listening to others' perspectives are as important as the answers we profess to have found. We recognize that in this changing world, our answers may have to change, and they are more ephemeral than the questions. People's Church is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. So welcome to People's Church. And now, we have a few announcements.
So here are our announcements as we begin. Next Sunday, we will be celebrating Chris Schluter, who has been our church administrator for many years, who is moving on. So there will be an ice cream social following the service, hopefully outside. We hope the weather allows that. And I invite you all to bring cards of appreciation. You could mail those to the church during the week. You could bring them next Sunday. You could drop them off. And if you are here now, we have some blank cards by a box on the information desk in the reception area that you could write a note of gratitude and good wishes as he moves on. Our stewardship campaign continues, and part of this campaign has been weaving these beautiful wheels. So these are old bicycle wheels, and people have woven in ribbon and rope and wire, and I think some guinea pig food and string and beads as a metaphor for how we are weaving ourselves back together, or weaving ourselves together as a congregation in these days. So we've had pledges from 100 individuals and households, and those folks have made commitments of, let me get this right, 207, I hate reading numbers out loud, $207,000, $449.56. It's a lot. And there are about 30-ish individuals and households we're still waiting to hear from, and we will be calling you this week or emailing you and following up. So if you don't want to receive those phone calls or emails, as much as I don't want to have to make them, I invite you to fill out a pledge form. If you're here, we have them right at the back of the commons on that table you passed as you walked in, or you can go to the church website and there is a big green button that says pledge, and it will take you where you need to go. Thank you all for your generosity. We couldn't do any of this if it wasn't for you. Thank you. Next up in our list of announcements, I want to remind you all that the congregational meeting for May has been set. It will happen on May 22nd at 10:45 a.m., so the same time as our service. And if it's short, we'll get to have a sing-along after, so keep that in mind as we move into it. And with our new bylaws, it allows full participation both in person and via Zoom. So I encourage you to attend in one of those ways, so we can do the work of our congregation, including passing a budget for next year and voting on new members of our nominating committee and board. I hope you come. This morning, as you walked in, you might have noticed people collecting signatures to put an initiative on the ballot here. So we are collecting signatures for what's called the Good Time Initiative, which will allow people who are incarcerated to reduce their sentences if they have good behavior, which includes maintaining employment or furthering their education, among other things. Most other states and the federal prison system have this, but Michigan does not. So let's catch up. So if you are here in person, please sign. If you are joining us via Zoom and want to sign, Rick Johnson and Molly Fairbanks are our collectors. So be in touch with them. I'm sure they will show up to your door to get your autograph if that's what you want. Those are all my announcements. Now here comes Diane Melvin, our Director of Religious Education, with another announcement.
Good morning. I am so excited to get to announce that we are the return of our People's Church Peace and Nature Camp will happen this spring, this summer. So it's been quite the dearth of the last 2 years during the pandemic. And the reason that we are able to continue it, because Jeff actually stepped down as director prior to the pandemic, is because we are fortunate enough that Laura Boltman and Dolores Strom have stepped up to be the director and the assistant director of Peace and Nature Camp. Will you guys stand up? Wave. We have a great team assembled and wonderful staff, and I am so excited to be able to offer this again this year to our elementary students, a 1-week day camp from 9 to 4 at People's Church. So as you exit the foyer, these flyers are sitting back on the table. Feel free to grab one. Our registration is going live next week, so very soon. And feel free to share it with your friends, and look forward to another revisioning our new Peace and Nature Camp in this era. Thank you.
All right. We are going to sing. First, make sure you can hear me. Now you can hear me. Hey, and it's the first time I get to say in more than 2 years that you can stand in body or spirit, or if you're willing, or something like that. So I have to learn how to say it again. All right, which is a good problem to have. Okay. Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue old home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in our beautiful blue bold home. could see before me. Sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue gold home. Oh, the wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue gold home. My blue gold home. My blue gold home.
Good morning. Today we are lighting our chalice in celebration of Earth Day. And Oliver Spradling, is he here today to help us out with that? All right, come on up. Sparta, sorry. Our chalice words are by Vern Barnett. I pledge allegiance to the earth on which I stand and to the environment of which I am a part, one planet in a process with soil, water, and air like one body, indivisible with resources to be cherished and protected by all. And if you're lighting a chalice at home, we encourage you to type in the chat box, a chalice is lit in your neighborhood or street. And now we have a story.
Could I have all the kids come up front with me for the story? I need some help telling this story. Kids of all ages, anyone who would like to get up and come up front is welcome and invited to help me tell this story. Oh, I am so happy to see you all up here today. Hi, Charlie. Today, I want to tell you a story about my friend whose name is Gluskabe. Now, Gluskabe was known to be a little bit of a trickster amongst his friends. So one day, Gluskabe decided he wanted to go. Huxley, you're welcome to come up and join us with your coyote. Because he was going out into the forest and he wanted to go hunting. He was hungry and he needed something to eat. So he left the lodge of his grandmother woodchuck where he lived. And he took his bow and his arrow and he went out into the forest to go hunting to find some animals for dinner. Well, the animals knew that Gluskabe was a little bit of a trickster and they decided to play a trick on him. You know what they did? They said, hey, everybody, look, it's Gluskabe. He's coming out hunting. Let's all hide and he won't be able to find any of us. And they passed the word and they laughed and they hid really well. And all day there was Gluskabe walking around the forest looking. He says, where are all the animals? I can't seem to find any of them. So he went back home to Grandmother Woodchuck's lodge that night. And he said, Grandmother, I have an idea. I need you to make me a new game bag. Oh, very good, she said, so you can put the game in that you catch to bring it home. Ah, yes, I have a wonderful caribou hide. So she took all of the fur, the hair from that hide, and she wove him a beautiful, strong game bag. And when she went to give it to him, he said, Grandmother, that is a lovely game bag, but it is not what I need. I need a bigger game bag. I need a stronger game bag than this one. No, will you please make me another game bag?
Yes, it would definitely need. If you were carrying like a heavy game, it would definitely need to be thicker.
Oh, thicker if we were carrying heavy game, right? This is just not quite, you're right, Charlie.
Yes.
So grandmother woodchuck also happened to have a deer hide. And so she took that deer hide and she wove him another game bag. And she said, here, Gluskabi, I have made you a wonderful game bag. And he said, oh, grandmother, no, that is still not big enough for what I need. Don't you have a bigger and a stronger and more beautiful game bag for my idea? Oh, Gluskabi, but she loved her grandson. So she had a moose hide. And not only did she weave him a strong and beautiful game bag, but she had some porcupine quills that she flattened with her teeth. And she made a beautiful design around the game bag. And she said, Gluskabi, I've got a beautiful game bag for you. And he says, grandmother, you're not understanding. I need it bigger and stronger than this for my idea.
How could that be any stronger?
Right?
You need porcupine quills just stick out of every surface.
Grandmother says, Gluskabi, what is it that you need? Ah, he says, I need a game bag made out of woodchuck hair. Well, grandmother woodchuck took and pulled all the hairs out of her belly. And if you look at a woodchuck today, they don't have any hair on their belly still to this day. And she made him the biggest, the strongest, the most amazing game bag ever. But you know what was extra special about this one? It was magic. And no matter how much you put in the bag, it just grew bigger and bigger to accommodate everything you put in there. Oh, grandmother, he says, this is perfect. This is just what I needed. So he took his new magic game bag. He went out to the forest and he said to the animals, hey, all you animals in the forest, a terrible thing is going to happen. The world is going to end. Everything is going to be destroyed. And the animals came running over to Gluskabi and they said, oh no, what shall we do? We are afraid. Do not worry. All you need to do is get into my game bag and I will keep you safe. Oh, good, said all the animals. Who can help me put some animals in my game bag? I need some help. And so first crawled in all the squirrels and the foxes and the turtles and the game birds and then the raccoons and the bunnies and the fox and the bison and the owls. And then it kept growing bigger and bigger, and the otters. And then came the bears and the moose and the caribou, and the bag just kept growing bigger and bigger. Everybody fit. Oh, it's quite heavy, but it's fortunate it's magic. So he took the game bag over his shoulder and he came all the way back to grandmother Woodchuck's lodge, and he says, grandmother, I have great news. We no longer have to go out into the forest to look for animals when we're hungry and we want to eat. All we have to do is open my game bag and we can have dinner. Oh, Gluskabi, said his grandmother. Yeah, what are you thinking? These animals cannot live in this game bag. They don't have any food or water. And if we put all the animals in the world in your game bag, what will happen to future generations? What will our children eat? and our children's children. We have to think more than just of ourselves right now. We have to think of the whole world. And plus, it is important for you to hunt the animals because it helps you become wiser and stronger. And it is important for the animals to be hunted, for they become faster and wiser and stronger too. And that is what keeps the world in balance. Ah, said Gluskabi, of course, you are right, grandmother. So he picked up his game bag and he went back out into the clearing and he opened it up and he said to them, good news, the world was destroyed, but don't worry, I put it back together and it's safe to come out now. And all the animals scampered back out of the bag and went off into the forest where they still live to this day because Gluskabi listened to the wisdom of his grandmother woodchuck. So I want you guys to tell me, what do you think Gluskabi was thinking when he did that? Addie? He was thinking he wanted to eat them, but why did he want to just take them out of his bag and not go hunting? Ah, yes. And what do you think? What do you think, Oliver? Yeah, Keller. What did you say? Oh, nothing. Did you have a thought, Annabelle? What do you think, Beta? Why did he want to put them all in the bag instead of go out hunting for them? Because they hid from him? Because it was hard? What was it like when they were in the bag for him? Was it easier and more convenient?
Yeah, so we took them out so we didn't have to kill them.
Yes, he took them all to make it really easy for him, but it's important, even though some things are easier and more convenient for us, to think of the big picture and think of the balance with the whole earth and all the animals and people together, huh? Today is such a special day because we get to be up here together for the first time in over 2 years, and we're going to stay in for just a little bit longer before we go out and do some interactive activities with our families together. So I'm going to ask you to put all my animals back in the purple bag, and then you can go back and get your fidget baskets. Yes, he did, but I'm not going to eat them. He is cute. Thanks, guys. Okay, okay, great. Perfect. Put them all in the woodchuck bag, huh? That's a magic bag. Oh, okay, you can play with that, cutie. Thank you.
If you stay up here, the choir is going to sing and you're going to have to join them. People are generous people. And I have known for a long time, since I got here, that People's Church is a cool congregation. Perhaps others of you knew that as well. But just recently, we have been certified cool by Interfaith Power and Light, an organization that works with congregations to mitigate and combat climate change. So over the past several years, our Green Sanctuary Committee and Building and Grounds crew and others have been working hard to reduce our carbon footprint as a congregation. We have installed solar panels, we have insulated our building, we have done other projects, and we have achieved at least a 20% reduction in our carbon emissions as a congregation, which is great. And so that means we are a cool congregation. Officially, we're gonna have that on a plaque and put it on the wall pretty soon. So none of this would be possible without the vision and commitment and skill with drywall and all of the things that you all bring to this church. The offering will now be received to carry the good and important work of the church forward. If you are joining us by Zoom, I invite you to give online or through the mail. And we still haven't figured out how to consistently pass baskets on Sunday morning, so perhaps someone will run and grab baskets, or when you leave today, we have donation boxes at all of the exits in the back of the Commons. Thank you all.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all to thee we raise this our gift of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all to thee we raise this our gift of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and dale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Please join me in giving thanks from the countless gifts we each have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance. We bring these small portions to share in the works of love which none of us can accomplish alone.
Now, dear ones, it is time to make real our love for the earth. Those of you who are here with us in person have a map of our building, maps of our buildings and grounds in your order of service, as well as on the back of your order of service, directions for all of the different activities that will begin now. We know there are many ways to show love. That can look like deepening connections through conversations at the fire pit. That can look like writing letters of advocacy to support our earth in room 9. That can look like hiking and nature activities to love the ground that we are on. That can look like writing love letters or other chalk art on the earth itself in our back parking lot. That could look like taking some quiet time to walk the labyrinth. It could look like continuing our weaving project. Or if you choose to stay in the Commons, we will have a series of readings from Thich Nhat Hanh's Love Letters to the Earth and some beautiful music. So I invite you now to move to whatever would feed your spirit most today and enjoy that for the rest of our time together. You don't have to pick only one thing. You're allowed to move around and find what feeds you now. And for our Zoomies, you don't get as many options, but I hope you do find ways to get out and to write and to connect today as well. So our service today was inspired by a series of love letters that the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh wrote to the earth that a people's person sent to Diane and said, "These are really good." And we said, "Yes, let's make them a service." There are 10 letters, and we do not have time to read them all today. We will read half. But in his introduction, he writes, "The following meditations are love letters to the earth. They are contemplations that can help create an intimate conversation, a living dialogue with our planet. Above all, they are a practice of looking deeply. For us to survive, both as individuals and as a species, we need a revolution in consciousness. It can start with our collective awakening. Looking deeply with mindfulness and concentration, we can see that we are the earth. And with this insight, love and understanding will be born. The following conversations can enrich your practice of walking meditation, sitting meditation, and mindful eating. You may like to contemplate them when you're sitting quietly by a lake, looking at the night sky, or walking in the woods. They can deepen your practice of mindfulness. You can let them slowly penetrate into your consciousness, where they can bring about insight, deep healing, and transformation. You may like to find a quiet place to sit where you can read them alone, or you may like to read them out loud together with others. Or you can write your own love letter to Mother Earth. There's no limit to where or how any one of us can have an intimate conversation with the earth. Letter 1. Beloved Mother of all things. Dear Mother Earth, I bow my head before you as I look deeply and recognize that you are present in me and that I'm part of you. I was born from you and you are always present, offering me everything I need for my nourishment and growth. My mother, my father, and all my ancestors are also your children. We breathe your fresh air. We drink your clear water. We eat your nourishing food. Your herbs heal us when we're sick. You are the mother of all beings. I call you by the human name Mother, and yet I know your mothering is more vast and ancient than humankind. We are just one young species of your many children. All the millions of other species who live or who have lived on Earth are also your children. You aren't a person, but I know you are not less than a person either. You are a living, breathing being in the form of a planet. Each species has its own language, yet as our mother, you can understand us all. That is why you can hear me today as I open my heart to you and offer my prayer. Dear Mother, wherever there is soil, water, rock, or air, you are there, nourishing me and giving me life. You are present in every cell of my body. My physical body is your physical body. Just as the sun and stars are present in you, they are also present in me. You are not outside of me, and I am not outside of you. You are more than just my environment. You are nothing less than myself. I promise to keep the awareness alive that you are always in me, and I am always in you. I promise to be aware that your health and well-being is my own health and well-being. I know I need to keep this awareness alive in me for us both to be peaceful, happy, healthy, and strong. Sometimes I forget. Lost in the confusion and worries of daily life, I forget that my body is your body, and sometimes even forget that I have a body at all. Unaware of the presence of my body and the beautiful planet around me and within me, I'm unable to cherish and celebrate the precious gift of life you have given me. Dear Mother, my deep wish is to wake up to the miracle of life. I promise to train myself to be present for myself, my life, and for you in every moment. I know that my true presence is the best gift I can offer to you, the one I love. Letter 4, your stability, patience, and inclusiveness. Dear Mother Earth, you are this infinitely beautiful blue planet, fragrant, cool, and kind. Your immeasurable patience and endurance makes you a great bodhisattva. Even though we've made many mistakes, you always forgive us. Every time we return to you, you are ready to open your arms and embrace us. Whenever I am unstable, every time I lose touch with myself or am lost in forgetfulness, sadness, hatred, or despair, I know I can come back to you. Touching you, I can find refuge. I can reestablish my peace and regain my joy and self-confidence. You love, protect, and nurture all of us without discrimination. You have an immense capacity to embrace, handle, and transform everything that is cast at you, whether it be great asteroids, refuse and filth, poisonous fumes, or radioactive waste. Time helps you do this, and your history has shown that you always succeed, even if it takes millions of years. You were able to re-establish equilibrium after the devastating collision that created the moon, and have endured at least 5 mass extinctions, reviving yourself every time. You have an extraordinary capacity to renew, transform, and heal yourself, and also us, your children. I have faith in your great power of healing. My faith comes from my own observation and experience, not from something others have told me to believe. That's why I know I can take refuge in you. As I walk, sit, and breathe, I can surrender myself to you, trust wholly in you, and allow you to heal me. I know I don't have to do anything at all. I can simply relax, release all the tension in my body and all the fears and worries in my mind. Whether I'm sitting or walking, lying down or standing, I allow myself to take refuge in you and allow myself to be held and healed by you. I entrust myself to you, Mother Earth. Each one of us needs a place of refuge, but we may not know how to find it or how to get there. Looking deeply today, I can see that my true home, my true place of refuge is you, my beloved planet. I take refuge in you, Mother Earth. I do not have to go anywhere to find you. You are already in me, and I am already in you. Dear Mother, each time I sit in stillness on your earth, I will be aware that because you are in me, I can embody your wonderful qualities of solidarity, perseverance, patience and forbearance, of depth, endurance, stability, of great courage, non-fear, and inexhaustible creativity. I vow to practice wholeheartedly to realize these qualities, knowing that you have already sown these potentials as seeds in the soil of my heart and mind.
Our next song is number 61 in your hymnal, number 61. Lo, the earth awakes again, hallelujah, from the winter's bond and pain, hallelujah. Bring relief and flower and spray, hallelujah, to adorn this happy day, hallelujah. Once again the word comes true, hallelujah. All the earth shall be made new, hallelujah. Now the dark old days are o'er, hallelujah. Spring and gladness are before, hallelujah. Change then mourning into praise, hallelujah. And for dirges anthems raise, hallelujah. Our spirits soar and sing, hallelujah. How our hearts leap with the spring, hallelujah.
Letter 6, Our Journey of Eons. Dear Mother Earth, do you remember when you and Father Sun first formed from the dust of exploded stars and interstellar gas? You didn't wear the silken cloak of freshness that you do today. At that time, Mother, more than 4.5 billion years ago, your robe was made of molten rock. Soon it cooled to form a hard crust. Although Father's light was far less than it is today, your thin atmosphere captured the heat and kept your oceans from freezing. In those first few 100 million years, you overcame many great difficulties to create an environment capable of sustaining life. You released great heat, fires, and gases from your volcanoes. Steam was expelled from your crust to become vapor in your atmosphere, and the ocean in your great oceans contained water. Your gravity helped anchor the life-sustaining sky, and your magnetic field prevented it from being stripped away by solar winds and cosmic rays. But even before forming the atmosphere, you endured a collision with a great heavenly body, almost the size of Mars. Part of the impacting planet became you. The rest of it, along with some of your mantle and crust, became the moon. Dear Mother, the moon is a part of you as beautiful as an angel. She is a kind sister to you, always following you, helping you slow down and keep your balance, and creating tidal rhythms on your body. Our solar system is one family, revolving around Father Sun in a joyful and harmonious dance. First, there is Mercury, metallic and cratered, closest to the sun. Next is Venus, with her intense heat, high-pressure atmosphere, and volcanoes. And then there is you, beloved Earth, the most beautiful of all. Beyond us orbits the red planet, cold and desolate Mars. And after the asteroid belt, there comes the gas giant Jupiter, by far the largest planet of all, attended by an assembly of diverse moons. Beyond Jupiter orbits Saturn, the spectacularly ringed planet, followed by Uranus, tilted on his side after a collision. And finally, distant blue Neptune, with his turbulent storms and high winds. Contemplating this splendor, I can see that you, Mother Earth, are the most precious flower in our solar system, a true jewel of the cosmos. It took you 1 billion years to begin to manifest the first living beings. Complex molecules, perhaps brought to you from outer space, started to come together in self-replicating structures, slowly becoming more and more the living cells. Light particles from distant stars, millions of light years away, came to visit and stay a while. Small cells gradually became larger cells. Unicellular organisms evolved into multicellular organisms. Life developed from deep within the oceans, multiplying and prospering, steadily improving the atmosphere. Slowly, the ozone layer could form, preventing harmful radiation from reaching your surface and allowing life on land to prosper. It was only then, as the miracle of photosynthesis unfurled, that you began to wear the exquisite green mantle you do today. But all phenomena are permanent, and ever-changing. Life over vast areas of the earth has already been destroyed more than 5 times, including 65 million years ago, when the impact of a giant asteroid caused the mass extinction of dinosaurs and 3/4 of all other species. Dear Mother, I am in awe of your capacity to be patient and creative, despite all the harsh conditions you have endured. I promise to remember our extraordinary journey of eons and to live my days with the awareness that we are all your children and that we are all made of stars. I promise to do my part, contributing my own energy of joy and harmony to the glorious symphony of Earth. Letter 7. Your ultimate reality, no death, no fear. Dear Mother Earth, you were born from the dust of distant supernovas and ancient stars. Your manifestation is but a continuation of when you cease to exist in this current form, you too will continue in another. Your true nature is the ultimate dimension of reality, the nature of no coming and no going, no birth and no death. This is also our true nature. If we're able to touch this, we can experience the peace and freedom of non-fear. And yet, because of our limited view, we still wonder what will happen to us when our physical form disintegrates. When we die, we merely return to you. You have given birth to us in the past, and we know that you will continue to give birth to us time and time again in the future. We know we can never die. Each time we manifest, we're fresh and new. Each time we return to the earth, you receive and embrace us with great compassion. We promise to train ourselves to look deeply, to see and touch this truth, that our lifespan is your lifespan, and your lifespan is limitless. We know that the ultimate and the historical, the noumenal and the phenomenal, are two dimensions of the same reality. Touching the historical dimensions, a leaf, a flower, a pebble, a beam of light, a mountain, a river, a bird, or our own body, we can touch the ultimate. When we deeply touch the one, we touch the all. This is interbeing. Dear Mother, we vow to see you as our body and to see the sun as our heart. We will train ourselves to recognize you and the sun in every cell of our body. We will find you both, Mother Earth and Father Sun, in each tender leaf, in each flashing of light, in each drop of water. Diligently, we will practice to see the ultimate and realize our own true nature. We will practice to see that we have never been born and we will never die. We know that in the ultimate dimension, there is no birth and no death, no being and no non-being, no suffering and no happiness, no good and no evil. We will train ourselves to look deeply into the world of signs and appearances with the insight of interbeing, in order to see that there is no death, there could be no birth. In order that there's no suffering, there can be no happiness. Without mud, the lotus can't grow. We know that happiness and suffering, birth and death, lean on each other. These pairs of opposites are only concepts. When we transcend these dualistic views of reality, we're freed from all anxiety and fear. Touching the ultimate, we're happy and at ease. We're in our element, free from all notions and concepts. We're as free as a bird soaring in the sky, as free as a deer leaping through the woods. Living deeply in mindfulness, we touch our true nature of interdependence and interbeing. We know we are one with you and with the whole cosmos. The ultimate reality transcends all notions and concepts. It can't be described as personal or interpersonal, material or spiritual, nor as the object or subject of mind. Ultimate reality is always shining and shining on itself. We don't need to look for the ultimate outside of ourselves. We touch the ultimate in the very here and now.
Letter 10. Can you count on us? Dear Mother Earth, the human species is but one of your many children. Unfortunately, many of us have been blinded by greed, pride, and delusion, and only a few of us have been able to recognize you as our mother. Not realizing this, we have done you great harm, compromising both your health and your beauty. Our deluded minds push us to exploit you and create more and more discord, putting you and all your forms of life under stress and strain. Looking deeply, we also recognize that you have enough patience, endurance, and energy to embrace and transform all of the damage we have caused, even if it takes you hundreds of millions of years. When greed and pride overtake our basic survival needs, the result is always violence and unnecessary devastation. We know that whenever one species develops too rapidly, exceeding its natural limit, there is great loss and damage, and the lives of other species are endangered. For equilibrium to be restored, causes and conditions naturally arise to bring about the destruction of that species. Often these causes and conditions originate from within the destructive species itself. We have learned that when we perpetrate violence towards our own and other species, we are violent towards ourselves. When we know how to protect all beings, we are protecting ourselves. We understand that all things are impermanent and without a separate self-nature. You and Father Son, like everything else in the cosmos, are constantly changing. And you are only made of non-you elements. This is why we know that in the ultimate dimension, you transcend birth and death, being and non-being. Nonetheless, we need to protect you and restore balance so that you can continue for a long time in this beautiful and precious form. Not just for our children and their children, but for 500 million years and beyond. We want to protect you so you can remain a glorious jewel within our solar system for eons to come. We know that you want us to live in such a way that each moment of our daily lives we can cherish life and generate the energies of mindfulness, peace, solid compassion, and love. We vow to fulfill your wish and respond to your love. We have the deep conviction that generating these wholesome energies will help reduce the suffering on earth and to contribute to alleviating the suffering caused by violence, war, hunger, and illness. In alleviating our suffering, we alleviate yours. Dear Mother, there have been times when we suffered greatly as a result of natural disasters. We know that whenever we suffer, you suffer through us. The floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, and tsunamis aren't punishments or manifestations of your anger, but are phenomena that must occur on occasion so that balance can be restored. The same is true of a shooting star. For balance in nature to be achieved, at times some species have to endure loss. In those moments, we have turned to you, dear Mother, and asked whether or not we can count on you, on your stability and compassion. You didn't answer us right away. Then, Beholding us with great compassion, you replied, "Yes, of course you can count on your mother. I will always be there for you." But then you said, "Dear children, you must ask yourselves, can your Mother Earth count on you?" Dear Mother, today we offer you our solemn reply. Yes, Mother, you can count on us.
Our closing song is number 123, Spirit of Life. And I do invite you to stand and embody your spirit. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
And so may we return to the world from this gathering with greater attention to the beauty of the earth that is around us, to this wonderful world we inhabit. And may we love the earth and the parts of it that is ours to reach and care for and attend to. Let us go in peace and go in love.